Dairy products often raise questions for people managing high cholesterol, largely because many traditional dairy items, such as whole milk, cream, cheese, and butter, contain significant amounts of saturated fat. Since saturated fat can raise LDL cholesterol, the type most closely associated with atherosclerosis and heart disease, it has been a long-standing recommendation to limit full-fat dairy in cholesterol-conscious diets. However, emerging evidence and broader dietary context suggest the answer is not as simple as eliminating dairy altogether. For most individuals with high cholesterol, dairy does not need to be entirely avoided, but it should be consumed thoughtfully. Low-fat or fat-free dairy products offer the benefits of dairy: protein, calcium, vitamin D, potassium, and probiotics, without the higher levels of saturated fat found in their full-fat counterparts. Yogurt and milk, for instance, are excellent sources of nutrition and can fit into a heart-healthy diet when chosen in reduced-fat versions. Fermented dairy like kefir or plain Greek yogurt also contributes beneficial bacteria that support gut health and may indirectly influence inflammation and lipid metabolism. Plant-based dairy alternatives, such as those made from soy, almond, oat, or pea protein, have also gained popularity as cholesterol-friendly options. These are naturally cholesterol-free and often lower in saturated fat, though some varieties are fortified with calcium and vitamin D to match the nutritional profile of traditional dairy. Among them, soy-based options have the most robust evidence for supporting cardiovascular health, with some research indicating they may slightly lower LDL cholesterol when used in place of animal-based products. However, not all plant-based milks are created equal. Some are heavily sweetened, flavored, or low in protein, so reading labels is essential to ensure they're actually healthier alternatives. Interestingly, recent studies have challenged the idea that all full-fat dairy is harmful. Some research has found that certain full-fat dairy products, especially fermented ones like cheese and yogurt, may not negatively affect and may even modestly improve heart health in some individuals. This could be due to their unique fatty acid composition, calcium content, or the presence of beneficial compounds formed during fermentation. However, these findings are not definitive, and for people already diagnosed with high cholesterol or cardiovascular risk factors, a cautious approach to full-fat dairy is still advisable. Portion size and overall dietary pattern remain more important than any one food item. A small piece of cheese or a splash of whole milk in coffee may not meaningfully impact cholesterol levels, especially if the rest of the diet is rich in fiber, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and healthy fats. Problems tend to arise when high-saturated fat dairy is consumed regularly and in large quantities, particularly in conjunction with processed meats, sugary foods, and refined carbohydrates. In summary, people with high cholesterol do not need to avoid dairy entirely, but choosing low-fat versions or plant-based alternatives can be a smart way to reduce saturated fat intake without sacrificing key nutrients. When selected mindfully and consumed in appropriate portions, dairy can be part of a balanced, heart-conscious diet. The focus should be on overall quality, moderation, and how dairy fits into the broader nutritional picture, rather than on rigid avoidance.